Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and like always, I'm Brian. So my package from ANSI Labs finally came in the mail. I'm so pumped. I already opened up one, but I saved another one so I can do an unboxing with you guys. Also, today I'm going to be talking about how dermatillomania has been affecting me, how I'm trying to cope with it, and basically what's been going on in my life. But yeah, still going to open this thing with a little bit of Chanley style, so let's get to it. First off, I just want to say I love how thoughtful this company is. They even went out of their way and printed something on the sticker, and it reads, "This bubble wrap has kept your fidget cube safe on its journey to you. Take a moment to treat yourself and pop a few. Hashtag fidget forever," which I think is pretty sweet. I like that they've basically considered every single detail, but like I have already said that once. And here it is. And since DHL was nice enough to gently handle my product, it's come completely safe and intact. And I hope you guys can tell your sarcasm. Luckily, this one isn't as damaged, but if you look at the other one, there's a crack right here and a crack right there in the plastic. And like I said, they were handled so well that the cubes themselves have actually come dislodged from their packaging. Now, this color is actually the backer color. So I got the green on black. And let's see. Here, let's say it's supposed to stick in there like that. And the adhesive on this is, there's adhesive in there, but it got shaken loose pretty hard. So if you look, it says roll, so you got the ball and the clickers. Glide, which is like a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller. Spin, which is, just a little spinner. And then breathe. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I actually tried breathing on the other one to see if it would change the color or do anything to it. But I'm going to go ahead and say that since this is a worry stone, it's telling you to take a deep breath and kind of relax. Right? And then click on the bottom. So we'll pull this off. And then you got 3 clicky buttons. Which this one in the middle doesn't click as much as these two. That's kind of interesting. And then 2 soft press buttons. Now, before I go below here, I'm going to talk about this for a little bit. When I got it, I honestly thought the clicky part was going to be the part I would play with the most. This is supposed to be like a pen clicker, but it just goes down and clicks. There's no actual like pen locking mechanism like this. And that's something I thought this was going to be. And then this is all right. I actually really like this spinner. I catch myself doing this a lot with my thumb. I thought I would be using the worry stone more, but I just kind of hold it like that. That's about all I do right now. And then the one that is really surprising to me was this. This is overly satisfying. I thought this would be boring and I would never touch it. And I also like that I can get it stuck halfway and then click it. Now, the spinners here, these are also very nice. And then it's got a little ball here too. And the ball also clicks. My favorite way to hold it right now is in my hand, about like this, with my thumb here. That way I can roll these, click, and then I can reach over here and hit the switch as well. And then, obviously, you can roll it around and do whatever you like. Spinner is nice. And then this is not really anything. What I usually use it for is something to hold on to, like with the bottom of my hand when I'm holding it. And it helps adjust and basically be available almost like a movable handle depending on how I'm holding the cube. So, yeah, there's that. Then underneath we have a nice little ANSI Lab bag and a sticker. So I ended up 2 bags, 2 stickers, and 2 cubes. I didn't notice that, but these do feel exactly the same. It's a little different. I think the switch on this one's a little louder. They're slightly different. I expected them to be basically exactly the same, but that's interesting. They both have kind of their own little personality. And then obviously if you're carrying it around in your pocket or whatnot, you can put it in the bag, but it's small enough that I would just keep it in the bag. And based on their hand model, I honestly thought this was going to be bigger. It's really easy just to hold in your hand comfortably. It's small and out of the way, and most of the time people don't even notice that I'm holding it. Or very rarely people have noticed that I'm holding it unless I have it sitting on my desk or I'm actively fucking with it. No one really notices it. So how is my life going with Dermatillomania? Honestly, not really that good. I want to pretend and say that I've made a little bit of progress or something like that, but honestly, I haven't been doing much. Like I said in my last video, I got really tired of my therapist, so I stopped going with the intent of going back. And then I was making the excuse that I would go back once I had this guy. And it took a little, there was a huge delay. The QC on these wasn't up to quality, and they didn't want to send out any bad cubes. And then they also had to take a break because they were busy suing like 20 other copycats that are producing Fidget-like cubes. I'm sure you guys have seen Antsy Cube or Stress Cube, and they're all basically rip-offs of this. This is the original. And I've seen some of the generic ones you can get for like $5, and I feel like I would break that thing. This is very solid. But that was what I was going to do. I was planning on going back eventually, sometime like after the holidays was over, and use this as kind of a means to distract myself, to keep me from picking my fingers. And I mean, so far it does really well, and it does actually help me focus a little bit more at work. Actually, even like when I'm driving, I'll hold it in my hand, and it doesn't impair me when I'm driving and things like that, because it is small enough and I can put it in like the cup holder or something like that, and it's just nice to have right there. It's really relaxing. It's kind of like almost like a security blanket, just to have something in my hand. It's really calming to carry around with me. But sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. As you guys probably could have seen in the earlier from me showing off this cube, my fingers aren't perfect. They're definitely been picked at. I actually got a blood blister on this finger, so it took basically everything in me not to destroy it and pick it raw. And just recently the actual blood blister itself started flaking off, and so I picked it, I peeled it off, and then I got it down as smooth as I could get it, so that way there wasn't just like rough, bloody scabs just hanging off my finger, because that would have driven me crazy. I have to keep my fingers smooth. That's my biggest deal with my dermatillomania, is I like it when my fingers are really smooth. Now, I've only had the cube for a couple of days, but like I said, I've been playing with it a lot and trying to discover which one of these sides works best for me. And honestly, it's good to have, because I can switch it. There's plenty of things to keep me occupied. I don't really get bored with it. And if I do start to get bored with one side, I can switch to another side. And like I already said, I don't even have to be playing with it. Just holding it in general helps me focus on not picking on my fingers. And maybe that's partially a mental thing. Maybe it's completely placebo. But to me, this is kind of like a drug addiction. Like, I feel the need to pick my fingers. And if anyone's ever read Anthony Kiedis' book, Scar Tissue, sometimes it's as silly as it sounds. Like, whatever reason that you can use to keep yourself from doing something, if it's a good reason, it's a good reason for you. Okay? It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. And the thing that Anthony Kiedis uses to keep himself from doing drugs is that his dogs have never seen him high. And he doesn't want his dogs to see him high. And so maybe it's just in my head that now that I have the cube, I want to start picking my fingers less. And it's all mental, but I don't care if it's mental or not, because this is a mental game. This is a mental disability. This is something that you have to use your mind to get over, so that way you're not constantly focusing on your skin. And so I don't care if this is a placebo and that I'm fooling myself. This thing's still fucking hell. This is very fun to play with. And I use it to distract my kids every once in a while. Like, if they're starting to act crazy, I'll be like, hey, you want to play with this? They've seen it in my hands enough times. They're like, oh, I get to play with Daddy's toy? And yeah, whatever. It helps distract them as well. So why do I have two? That's because I have a very smart wife. And I lose things. So she got me two. That way I can keep one on me, and if I lose it, I have a backup. Or I can keep one in my desk at work and keep one in my pocket, so that way there's always a good chance that I'll have one. Or, you know, I've got kids. If the kids run off with one, I still have a backup. Very smart lady, right? Then the reason I chose these colors is I like gunmetal gray. And then this was the special backer cube. You know, this was only available to people that backed this up to like a certain amount or something like that. And so I felt the need to get this one. It's not my favorite color scheme in the world, and I honestly thought the green was going to look different or maybe glow in the dark. Actually, does it? No, does not glow in the dark. But it's okay. I definitely think I like this one better, but you know, this is a special cube, so it's good too. So I'm gonna keep using this and maybe update you guys in like another month or so on my progress and whether or not I've gone back to therapy. But right now I'm still finishing up my braces, my oral surgeries and things like that, and I've started allergy shots. So I don't want to add a third appointment in there. I kind of like going to work and doing my job, so the more appointments I have, the less I can do my job and the less likely I am to be promoted. So I'll keep that in mind and update you guys on that. And, you know, we'll find out whether or not that's actually worth having. And honestly, it'll probably be in more of my videos. Like, I'll keep it out of sight and be clicking it just to help me focus. And then the other thing is, I actually had a friend who hit me up recently asking me for tips. I've known her since college. And I'll go ahead and... This is what her fingers look like. She's a little... I don't want to say worse than me, but she's definitely a little more bodily focused than I am. I mostly just pick at my skin and my cuticles. She picks her nails and the skin around her fingers. But I think she focuses mostly on her nails. And she asked me for tips, and I gave her some ideas. And I'm really curious to find out what some of the other people in like the Dermatillomania community has. Like, what would you suggest for someone who's done this? And she even told me this is like mild for her. She's actually cut back on picking her nails and her fingers, but when she sits at her desk at work, that's really all she has to do to entertain herself besides her job. The things I said was, you know, obviously since she's a girl, she might be able to get like fake nails put on to give her actual nails a chance to grow out. And she said that having fake nails would probably actually drive her crazy. She'd end up biting them or picking at them more if they were fake. I also recommended putting on gloves. You guys saw me. I liked the gloves. It actually it was comforting. I liked having the gloves on. Other things, like when I was in therapy, they mentioned like holding like reusable ice or something like that. And I don't know, I just threw out a couple ideas to her, hoping that maybe I would help her. And I would like to know what you guys do or what would be helpful to you to get, you know, let's just help each other out. Let's spitball this. Let's brainstorm this. Let's figure out how we can help each other. Because what may not work for you may work for someone else. And so if it's an idea that hasn't been said, please put it in the comments. Other than that, guys, I'll keep trying to put these out. I really want to spread the word about Dermatillomania. It needs to have a greater amount of acceptance. I feel like people get shunned for picking their fingers or biting their nails. And you need to accept people for what they are, because if you're just going to put them down, they're never going to get better. They're not going to want to get better. They're just going to hide, just like I did for the past few months. I hid. I didn't want to work on it, and I just hid. And I didn't talk about it. I didn't even post about it. I didn't do good or bad posts. And just recently, I've started posting again on Instagram. If this was helpful for you guys and you like these videos, please give me a thumbs up. Like I said, please be interactive in the comments. If you want to be more personal, you're more than welcome to send me direct messages on Facebook or Twitter or even Instagram. I get direct messages on there every once in a while, but the best way to reach me would probably be Facebook or Twitter for if you want to, you know, talk to me or give me some suggestions. If you'd like to stay anonymous, I completely understand. Otherwise, this was the unboxing of Fidget Cube and Dermatillomania in my life, done Chanley style.